use your mind to come up with fantastic scenes. You can tell a tale that is about anything. You dream of new worlds you can explore. Create your world however you like. So pick up your trusty pens. Come on along, my friends. Your own imagination is making a creation, so let's have some fun. Something awesome this way. Your own imagination is making a creation. Your own imagination is making a creation. Your own imagination is making awesome. Your own imagination is making a creation. Your own imagination.
George is a superhero, but he's trying to hide his identity from people. And he has an arch enemy named Jake the Hawk. George is 12'9", and George is 25 years old. And he plays basketball for fun. One day, George was practicing for a big game. Then Jake had robbed the bank. Then George changes into his superhero suit and he flew to the scene. Then he saw Jake flying away from the bank. Then George followed him to his base. But Jake heard him and turned and attacked him. Then George was hit and he flew back. But then George found a rope and he got Jake low enough to tie him up. And the city was saved once again. The end.
Welcome to Big Moments in Storytelling. I'm your host, Big. Today, we will be telling the story of Superfood Transformers versus the Evil Scientists. One Sunday morning, Joe's dad came out from the secret elevator in his dealership and said, "Son, I made a new vehicle. It's called Superfood Transformer. It looks like a food car, but there's a robot inside." Meanwhile, back in the basement of the dealership, an evil scientist was programming the robots to attack and make everyone into monsters. The crazy scientist said,
"Haha, yes! A robot making monsters! This is perfect!"
The next morning, Joe's dad went to the dealership. When he got there, the evil robots were out on the loose. They were turning all the people into monsters. He called his son and said, "Get your friends and get to the dealership immediately." When the kids arrived, Joe's dad said, "All right, listen up, kids. I need you to get into that new Superfood Transformers and defeat the robots made by these evil scientists. Rescue everyone and turn them back into people." They went inside the Superfood Transformers, clicked on the buttons, and they turned into robots.
OMG! This is awesome!
Joe said. They ran through the city defeating the robots. The battle destroyed a lot of buildings, smashed cars, and destroyed houses. It took over 5 hours to finish the battle. The evil scientist tried to escape, but his robot malfunctioned, and it started a countdown.
3, 2, 1.
It exploded and threw him far away from the city. The end. This has been Big Moments in Storytelling. And remember, every story has a beginning, a middle, and the end.
Jordan the dragon used to live with me. I found him one day in the park, hiding behind a tree. The dragon was all scaly, with a tail that had a flame. He started to throw fire at me, but some grapes helped make him tame. As I walked back homeward, I turned around to see the dragon was trotting along as he followed behind me. I took him home and cared for him. He slept in my bed. I cleaned his claws and washed his scales and tried to keep him fed. Jordan needed training to learn how to fly. We worked for weeks and soon enough he was comfortable in the sky. He also started growing bigger and stronger each day, until he got so big it seemed that he could not stay. I took care of Jordan, then I set him free. He flew away and started his own dragon family. One day he returned to me with his family in tow. We played all afternoon and then they flew back home. Oh, Jordan the dragon used to live with me. We had some fun and he will live inside my memory. Jordan the dragon now lives far away, but he'll be back to visit soon and we will laugh and play. One day, Samson and Roxy were super bored. We're super bored! So, they decided to go to the park. While they were playing with their squeaky ball, they noticed that someone had left behind 2 pieces of meat, a big one and a small one. Steak! Roxy ate the small piece of meat, and Samson ate the big piece of meat. Suddenly, Roxy started to shrink until she was the size of a mouse. Oh no! Meanwhile, after eating the big piece of meat, Samson began to grow. He grew so tall that his head was out of our atmosphere and people from miles away could see him. Oh my God! Whoa, what is that? It's so big, I can't believe it. The people were trying to help Roxy and Samson get back to their original sizes. They looked around the park and spotted 2 medium-sized pieces of the same magic steak. Samson and Roxy ate the steak and soon turned back to their original sizes. They had learned their lesson. We will never eat human food again.
Once upon a time, there were 3 dogs who were best friends. The dogs' names were Roxy, Samson, and a little puppy named Junior. Their favorite thing to do was roll down a hill. They also loved to eat ice cream. One day, they decided to take their ice cream with them when they rolled down the hill, which was a messy mistake. They would have to clean it up before dinner with Mama Dog. Even though Junior was only a puppy, she felt the need to clean up the mess. Only after cleaning everyone else did Junior clean herself.
Mama Dog will sure be proud of me.
It was getting to be dinner time, so they started to leave the park, until Roxy ran ahead and tripped into a hole.
Oh no, Roxy! Are you okay? I was so hungry, I saw a pizza and decided to jump in. What did Mama Dog say?
I'm just glad you three are safe.
Good job taking care of things today, Junior. I am very proud of you. Now who wants French fries?
I do! Hooray! Hooray!
In the year 3000 BC, the ancient dogs on Earth were praising the dog gods for it to rain because it was getting too dry. Suddenly, a giant rock crashed into the earth. The ancient dogs went to the crash site and discovered the golden bone. The golden bone was so powerful that the ancient dogs used it to make buildings out of gold. There were wars fought over the golden bone, and eventually the ancient dog population went extinct. Once the ancient dogs were no longer a threat, Astrocat came to Earth and took the golden bone back to Goldyam, where he used the bone to give himself mind control powers. This brings us to today. Meet our heroes, Sanson and Roxy. They are space travelers in search of the ancient golden bone. The heroes believe that the golden bone is in the hands of none other than that rascal, Astrocat. They have to save it, for they had heard of Astrocat's plan to turn the golden bone into an evil weapon. They traveled to Goldyam in search of the golden bone. Goldyam was very dangerous, and at one point, Sanson got stuck in a hole, but he escaped with help from Roxy. They searched and searched for Astrocat, knowing that wherever he was, the golden bone was surely nearby. At last, they found the golden bone, but it was a trap. The bone was really a hologram. And behind them was Astrocat. Astrocat used the real golden bone to create an active golden volcano. The volcano wouldn't stop unless it got 2 dogs as a sacrifice. Luckily, Roxy and Sanson always travel with robot dogs who can do dangerous things for them so that they won't get hurt. They dropped the robot dogs into the volcano, but when they did, Astrocat was already gone. Roxy and Sanson used their teleportation powers to go back to where the golden bone was. But, thinking it was a trap, they sent one of the robot dogs to go touch the bone to make sure it was safe. As the robot dog touched the golden bone, a hole full of hot gold opened underneath the robot, and Roxy and Sanson were able to jump over it and rescue the golden bone. Sanson and Roxy took the golden bone to the leader Astrodog, who awarded them with gold medals made out of the golden bone. They were also given magic treats that could turn into any food that they wanted as a reward for saving the whole species. Roxy and Sanson were celebrating at home, eating any food they wanted. Spaghetti, pizza, a big hamburger, a turkey leg, when all at once they were attacked by the most ancient dogs in the universe, the vampire dogs. To be continued.
Pigtails, animal adventure. Pigtails, technical. Pigtails, random interruptions that disrupt the narrative flow.
Hampton Pig is finally gonna put on her own show, and it's called Pigtails. Oh. Hi everyone, my name's Hampton, and welcome to Pigtails. It's a show all about me and my adventures on my very own island. Today, we're gonna learn about learning. Learning things is how we grow and get smarter. Most of us go to school to learn. And
excuse me, but dogs can't go to school?
I don't know who you are, but there are dog schools.
Yeah, but they're just designed to make dogs obedient. I made a device that makes dogs actually smart. I used it on my own dogs, Roxy and Sanson.
Roxy and Sanson. They're smart dogs? What?
One day, I was trying to train my dogs. I told them to sit, but they just stared at me, and I started to wonder if a machine to make dogs more intelligent existed. When I searched, it didn't show up what I was looking for. So I thought, voila! If it didn't exist, I'd create it. I started to get pieces from old machines and created the Roxy and Sanson Junior Intelligence Maker, or Trans-Gym for short.
Trans-Gym. That's a weird name.
I created Trans-Gym in a large garage. I didn't get to sleep every night that I was building it. When I finished, I started asking people for their dogs, but nobody trusted me. So I used my dogs, Roxy and Sanson. They were going to be the first intelligent dogs.
Okay, how does the machine work?
Well, I flicked the lever and the bar showing Roxy and Sanson's intelligence got full. I flicked the lever again to turn it off. I didn't know if Roxy and Sanson were smart, so I tested them. I played chess with my dogs and they kept beating me.
Are you any good at chess?
A lot of people were begging me to make their dogs smarter. I decided to sell copies of the Trans-Gym for $1,000. So I bought a new mansion and made more copies of Trans-Gym. And again, a bunch of people were buying Trans-Gym. And I got a lot of money to waste. So I donated to charity.
That's a lot of money.
A bunch of people were buying it, and I turned into a trillionaire. I bought a mansion and a lot of dogs. I put my dogs in my mansion. It became my dog mansion. I got a lot of money to waste, so I donated it to charity.
Well, I wouldn't call charity a waste. What cause did you give to?
The Society for Dogs Using Wolves as Hunters.
What?
Since they became smart all over the world, dogs began ruling and using wolves that also got smart as their hunters.
Ugh, that sounds horrifying.
Don't worry, everyone was normal because the wolves were nice to people, and I kept it that way.
Oh. Well, there you have it. How dogs are smart. And so it seems wolves. Oh, well, I guess that's all the time we have for today. Oh, if you'll excuse me, I gotta go, clean something. Oh, this has been Pigtails. Bye.
Once upon a time, a white-bearded gentleman named Mr. Sager was taking a stroll through the forest when he saw a big, brown bear. Luckily, Mr. Sager never goes anywhere without a piece of honey toast, so he fed some to the bear.
That was good, but my tummy's still rumbling. Give me more toast, or else! Uh-oh!
Mr. Sager had no more toast, and this made the bear mad. So the bear started chasing Mr. Sager. Mr. Sager knew he might not survive, so he found a hole too small for the bear to fit in. But little did Mr. Sager know, the hole led to a cave with a great big lake. He looked around to find an exit, but instead found some fish. So instead of toast, Mr. Sager gave the bear some fish. The bear was so full from the fish, he fell asleep.
Salmon, 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 salmon. Salmon, 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 salmon.
One day, as he was watching his favorite show, Emiliano heard a loud noise at his door.
Yaw! 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 What was that?
He opened the door and saw a baby eagle stuck in a giant U.S. postage bag.
Caw! Caw! Caw!
Emiliano wanted to cut the package around with great care, so he took a pair of sharp scissors and took his time, cutting away from himself and the eagle.
I think I'll name you Josh.
The eagle loved his new name.
Come on, Josh. Let's go for a walk in the park.
After walking for a while, Emiliano realized that Josh didn't need his wings to get around. He could walk by himself, like a human. To Emiliano, it looks like Josh found a lady eagle friend.
Josh, I know you act like a human, but you're still an eagle. Why don't you start a new life with this lady eagle instead of me? I think you'll be happier.
Then Josh flew away with his lady eagle friend to live together in a tree. So Emiliano went back to watching TV. Then one day, years later, Emiliano heard a familiar sound.
Wow, after all this time, I'm glad you came and visited me. Welcome back, buddy.